Chapter 15. Home is where the heart is. It's the summer when I turned 16. I haven't been home since Christmas, and I haven't seen very much of the boy since last summer's tiff. We made up before I went back to school. He accepted my apology and the letter. We even went back to watching movies in the screening room and to holding hands again, but there was a residue of awkwardness between us that we masked behind our usual routine. Life at school is all-consuming. I haven't had the space or energy to go home for more than a few days at a time in the past year. The boy's shadow has been looming large. I have also missed Miss Mary. I haven't seen my parents in so long that she's almost replaced them. I start weeping with relief when I see her waiting at the airport. Being back knocks me out of my airplane days. "How is the boy?" I ask her, hoping she'll drive me to his place. "Don't you want to go home first and shower?" she asks. "No," I say, but now that she's mentioned it, I do. "I think it's best," she says. She smiles at me and squeezes my knee maternally. "I do too. Thank you for your concern, Miss Mary." I crash like a jet that's run out of fuel the minute I get home. "I can't." "I know," she says, stroking my hair. "You sleep now, baby bird. You'll be so much better tomorrow. I'll let them know you're coming round in the morning instead." The boy is sitting on a bench, chatting to a girl, when I jump out of the car and run toward him. I pause just before reaching them, suddenly shy. What if he's changed more than I have? At first, he seems dismissive when I greet him. He tells the girl I'm an old friend from middle school. She shakes my hand and then says goodbye to both of us before walking off. I've heard from Mabel and others that he's been seeing a girl at the apartment building and that he's gotten close with some of the boys there too, Buzz and Farley. A friend. I raise an eyebrow and laugh. "That's how you introduce me now." He says that's what I am, since I've abandoned him for the high life up east. "All the while I've been missing you all year, I sing, then start dancing like a maniac." He looks down. "So what?" he says. "Show, don't tell. I am showing you my love for you, with dance," I declare. I feel we are edging back to the way we were before. Distance has made the heart grow fonder, longing, forgetting the rift, healing it. Forgiveness. I plop down beside him, grab his face, and kiss him all over while speaking in baby talk. "Are we a bit sullen, my itty-bitty BB?" I ask. At least I've managed to jolt him out of his mood. He laughs, his wonderful, guttural, silly laugh. "I love you," I blurt. I stand up, startled by my own outburst. I resume my idiot dance, singing, I love you, I lure of you." "Have you had sexual relations with anyone yet?" he asks abruptly. I stop and stare at him. "Why would you even ask that?" "I don't know," he says. "You just seem so energetic." "Oh." I blink, unsure where to look. I remind myself I will soon be 16 and regret my childishness. Maybe his new girl is more mature. "You have," he accuses. "Jesus, no, I bloody well haven't." "You promise?" "Of course I do. I'm saving myself for you and all the kids we're going to make through sweet lovemaking when we're old and married, just like your mama wants." He laughs. "Please, no. Don't remind me." "Have you?" I ask. "None of your goddamn business," he says. Then, a beat later, but no, not really. "I want to, though. I got the hots for you, baby." "You." "That's disgusting language," I say, laughing shyly. But funny. He grins. "Yes, I admit." "Funny. You really love me?" He glances over at me sideways as we walk back toward his parents' apartment. "Sure do, sucker." I put my arm around him. "Boy, have I brought presents for you," I say, shaking the tote bag I'm carrying. "You shouldn't have." "Yeah, I should. I brought a few things for your mama and daddy, too." "Thank you." He smiles, holding the door open as we start up the stairs. You're so welcome. Mama, look who I found prowling the streets like a tiger in heat, he announces, gesturing toward me. I laugh because he is being funny. Miss Birdie. His mother gets up from her chair and greets me with a warm hug. It's good to see you again, I say. It's wonderful to be home. You look lovely as ever. Please take a seat, she offers. Tell us everything. Did you do well on your exams? The boy hasn't done so well since you went away to school. Can you talk to him? I sure can, I say, and start telling her how great Miss Porter's is. Mama, we're going out, the boy says. Can I go to Birdie's and say hello to Miss Mary? Then, turning to me, can I stay at yours? He winks. In the spare room, I mean. Of course you can. Miss Mary always keeps it ready for you. Have you heard how much he's over at your house visitin' Miss Mary? His mother asks. No, I haven't, I answer. Are you really? I ask him as we walk back to my house. He grins. I'm there all the time, he confesses. Why? I ask. I just like it there, he shrugs. I like the scent of your room. I like to talk to Miss Mary, and I like her food. I like the home theater and the popcorn machine. I like the garden and the pool. And I really like lying in your bed talking to you when I miss you. But I'm not there, I say, confused. You sort of are, in a way. I am? Yeah. Anyway, stop harassing me about it. I go to your house, okay? You said I could. So I do. And Miss Mary likes to see me, too. She says so all the time. After a dip in the pool and iced tea in the shade, I tell him he can come sleep in my room tonight after Miss Mary has gone to bed. I've been thinking about it, I say. Not in a lewd way, but once the old proprietor of innocence has turned in, she won't know whether you're in your room or mine. And I do so love to natter before falling asleep. So just pop down the hall when she's turned off the lights downstairs and you hear her head out to her quarters. Yes? Fine by me. He laughs. It's real good to have you back home, he says. The boy has to work all summer, and this annoys me because I want to spend all my waking hours with him. I want to offer to have Grandpa George just pay him the money. But I know that won't do our relationship any good, so I accept it and do my thing without him when he is at work. I see Mabel and go to the club, and I spend time on my own recovering from the busy year I have put behind me. The Mid-South heat is unbearable. I drink iced water all day, go to air-conditioned movie houses with Mabel and Bingham in the afternoons. We eat ice cream by the river when I pick the boy up from work. We look at that mighty river of ours as it moves past us, going places, and we plan our big lives outside of Memphis. We know we too will go places somehow. The boy loves it when I read to him from funny books dramatically, using different voices, and we take turns entertaining each other, in between making out, and him asking when I'll finally let him have me, which makes him laugh every time and makes me deeply annoyed. Your mother would be appalled if she knew what a little bimbo you are, I tell him. I know, he says, but I feel like my hoochie-coochie ways are safe with you. I roll my eyes. I swim, help the gardener, tan and swim some more. Then I go with Miss Mary to see her sister in Arkansas before we head out to the country and visit Grandpa George, who wants to hear all about my American experience. He has moved out to the house that my mother always referred to as the summer place. It is green and lush and feels like paradise out here. One day, he says as we walk across a field, if you want it, of course, this will all be yours. He rests his hand on my shoulder as we look out to the horizon and all the unspoiled beauty ahead of us. Chapter 16, My Babe. The boy tells me about his summer job, saying it's been fun and the folks are real nice. I listen and imagine what it must be like to have a manual laboring job like that. You gotta let me do it soon, he says, lying back in my room after we've laughed ourselves breathless about something. Why? I ask. What's the hurry? Well, if you don't let me try it on you, I reckon it won't be the first time for both of us when we finally do it. But hey, if that's how you want it. You big banana head, I say, opening the window. He smirks and stretches out across the bed. Come here, darlin'. Stop it, you fool. You're 16, not some international playboy. He lets out a laugh. Maybe one day I will be. And then you'll be sorry you didn't catch me when you could. I throw a tennis ball at him. Well? He demands. I'll think about it. I don't tell him I already have been. Good. Now come here again. I need a bit more cuddlin'. Sure thing, I say. I'm here to please. He's always so polite around other girls. It makes me wonder. He says it's because I'm his soulmate, and he can be himself with me, just as he really is. I don't know what it is, he says. Feels like you already live in my head, so there's no point hiding nothing. I just let it all hang loose, right there in your face. He chortles. I see, I reply. A bit of decorum would be nice once in a while. Yes, ma'am, he says, mock seriously. What would you say if I did the same with you? He shrugs. Kind of feel like you already do. Oh, really? I say. Well, I don't. You oughta, he replies, stretching lazily before getting up. Anyway, gotta skedaddle. Mom'll be hollerin' if I don't show. And then he winks. See you later, Buzzy Bee. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you. A wrestle and tumble tonight? I ask. His eyes go wide. You bet. When you want me back? After supper sometime? Sure thing. I'll be here. Don't be square, I say, drawing a square with my finger. He chuckles. Nah, you're supposed to just say don't be, then draw the square. Oh, I say. Okay, bye now. I watch him walk down the drive and think, this is what home feels like, not just the house, him. Chapter 17, Out of the Cradle, Endlessly Rocking. I don't remember my life before America anymore. Not really, I tell Miss Mary. But dear heart, she says, you are still so young. She thinks for a moment while I look down, trying to summon it, but it doesn't come. Miss Mary has an idea and fetches an old photo album from the library. Let's go through it together, she says. From the beginning. She places the album on the kitchen table. Let's see here. She opens it, pulling her glasses from her apron pocket. I see my christening, my parents, almost forgotten now. They look young and smart, and there we are, Tom and me. And then came the war. I remember being frightened, escaping into fantasy, going on adventures in the garden in Devon. I see the house. I remember the ocean that meant faraway freedom, beach days, my dogs wearing tweeds, my hair in a bob with a bow. The house was drafty. I was alone a lot. Tom away at Eton and then off in the army. The nannies telling me to be good, not to bother my parents. Don't you know there's a war on? Don't you know how lucky you are compared to all the other children? And they made me feel shame. I knew I would never quite be good enough, not as a human being. My mother screaming when they brought word of Tom, how he and Hardington had both been shot by the SS whilst leading their company into some Belgian town on that horrid September day in '44. My father, silent, locking himself in the den and never really coming out. They used to be young and beautiful, my parents. I glance again at my christening photo. There they are, smiling, and I remember how quickly the war aged them. I remember hiding so I wouldn't be in the way, to be invisible. I fantasized about running off to America, where all the movies came from, where there was no blitz, where I had a grandfather. I roamed the grounds with the dogs. My paternal grandmother's garden at the Dower House, there was space to breathe and time to talk. How small I felt in my own big, haunted house. I look up at Miss Mary, and suddenly, I remember all of it. She takes my hand and says it's good I'm here with her now. She squeezes it gently. We look through the photographs. I look drawn, even at 7 or 8. There are always dogs with me. One picture shows me at the window in the great hall, all alone, surrounded by nothing, in that vast, drafty house my family owns, the one my father grew up in. A house full of ghosts. The wind howling down corridors, doors slamming, leaving me always on the outside. There I am, a dog beside me, another on the floor. My arm wrapped around the one next to me. I look so small, staring into the mist on the other side of the glass. And I realize maybe I didn't love it there as much as I said. Maybe what I told Mr. Grant was a lie I told myself first. The war was my greatest fear. I dreamt of hell. I remember the paintings by Francis Bacon my mother once took me to his studio, and I don't know why. They gave me nightmares. Visions of torment and flame. I didn't ask questions. I had to be good. Invisible. Contained. The nightmares. Waking up screaming. My nanny, not Miss Mary, telling me to temper myself. Keep calm and carry on. But I felt like a storm. Weather I had to hide. A tempest under the skin. A well-brought-up girl. And I dreamt of America where the women were loud and funny in screwball comedies. Where nobody had to hide. Where I had family. I was sent away to a larger country house with a bigger garden after Debo married Andrew. She told Mama I could stay there for a fortnight. I remember chickens. The war made everyone look drawn and hollowed out. I remember death and fear and twisted cartoon memories of the Blitz, images never meant for children. I tended the vegetable patch at my grandmother's house. I heard the voice calling me to America because Europe was burning, and this life wasn't good for me. Standing on the Devon beach, I looked for America, wondering if I could swim there. I dreamt of being in the movies. I dreamt of the North and the South, the East and the West, this vast, magical land of freedom my mother had told me about, and where I had, for some reason, been born. Something was waiting for me there. I heard its call. As I walked back to the house, I promised myself I'd go. Somewhere exciting. Somewhere warm, where there was music and possibility. And when I'd leave, I'd turn at the door of that cold house where no one begged me to stay and say, frankly, my dears, I don't give a damn. Then I'd go. I pause now and look at Miss Mary. Miss Mary is my mother now. I've forgotten Devon and the war. Maybe I didn't love England as much as I thought. But I did love the wild, untamed garden at the Dower House. I loved my dogs. Running through the tall grass towards the ocean, the wind in my tweeds, the thrill of summer, insects in my hair when I fell asleep on a blanket, unsupervised as always. It's freer. And I am being loved. I have Miss Mary now, not an English nanny, but a Southern lady from Arkansas. I love the boy. I've crossed the Atlantic to find my house, my great white mansion, where all is peaceful. And finally, I am being looked after. Miss Mary glances past me and catches someone's eye. She smiles and gestures. I turn. The boy is standing in the doorway. Tears stream down his face, the emotion of my other life washing over him. And I'm embarrassed, ashamed of being unloved, of being alone, of losing face. I try to pretend, but he's standing there, and I know he knows. He takes my hand. We're going to the pictures, he says softly. He knows I don't want to talk. He knows all I need is distance from memory. We don't need words. We've always had a language that existed before language. He drives us into town, to the real cinema. He buys 2 tickets for A Place in the Sun, with Elizabeth Taylor and Montgomery Clift. He holds my hand through the whole film. He tries to make me laugh, because the movie is sad and probably the wrong choice for today, but perfect for another day. He lightens the mood, and he moors me back to America, to the South. And it is better than Europe was for me. I feel no longing for it. A cord has been cut, and I am free. Chapter 18. Wild at Heart. I have my driver's license. I suddenly remember as we are watching the Ed Sullivan Show, we haven't even talked about it yet. He shrugs. Well, I've had mine for ages. What's so special about yours? He turns to me, and I grin. I can get a car and drive us around, I tell him. Aren't you excited? I really ain't. he says, giving a fearful shudder. I laugh. Well then, let's go pick out a car for me. Will you help? Are you kiddin'? You bet your sweet ass I will. I would like this one, I say, pointing to a pale lavender Cadillac Series 62 convertible gleaming in the sunlight. The boy whistles. Now you're talkin'. That's a fine-looking ride, Birdie. He grins. You've got taste, darlin'. That car's gonna look like a dream with you behind the wheel. I go ahead and make the purchase. Well, Miss Mary helps, and the bill gets sent to Grandpa George. I let the boy drive it off the lot. You know, you can take it out when I'm not around, I tell him. He glances over. You sure? Thought you might be taking it back up north when school starts again. I chortle. Hardly. I'd never survive parking it in Farmington, and besides, it'd rust to bits up there. It's better off down here. You can be its keeper. He shakes his head. Well, shoot. That's mighty kind of you. It's nothing, I say. Just one more thing. An hour later, after we've dropped Miss Mary at home and driven out of town somewhere quiet, none of us are pure anymore. It is the most excellent day of my life. First, I drive a Cadillac home from the dealership. Then I do something even more outrageous. I take a lover. Well, my lover is the boy, and I've known he'd be my first since the day I first laid eyes on him, and it was one hell of a clumsy attempt at lovemaking. I don't even know if we did it properly, but still. Thank you, he says afterwards. That was fun. Why, thank you, I reply, very pleased with myself. It's been swell. Just swell. I love you, he tells me, even if you are shameless. I love you too, you reprobate. I kiss his nose. Now come cuddle. Let's act like newlyweds. Let's pretend we're on our honeymoon, he says dreamily. Someplace real fancy. He says it like he believes in it, like he believes in us. This has been the best summer of my life. I've stopped judging my old friends, stopped acting all hoity-toity just because I've been up east. Miss Mary keeps telling me how proud she is, how I've found my generosity of heart again. And I think to myself, if only she knew the full truth. She's unknowingly sheltering a bona fide harlot, a teenage libertine, a girl of easy virtue. It doesn't bother me, not really. If anything, I feel accomplished, grown, a woman of the world. I stand before the mirror, brushing my hair, and whisper, I have taken a lover. A lover. The boy isn't just my lover, though. He's the moon and stars to me, my secret, my joy. More wants more, he says wisely. Ain't no going back now. And I suppose he's right. Especially now that I've my own car. That lavender Cadillac might as well be a chariot of sin, or freedom. Possibly both. She's on to us, he says, giggling as he buttons his trousers. Who? I ask. Mama. No, she isn't, I say, swatting his shoulder. Don't freak me out like that. She is, Birdie, I swear it. She gives me that look every time I head out to see you. Oh no, I say, properly appalled. What on earth are we going to do? Deny, 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 he says, all smug. Ain't much else we can do. Fine, I reply. We should probably head back. Want to drive? Of course he does. He's obsessed with that car. I'm heading back up to school tomorrow, I tell him as we drive back into town after one of our escapades to Gomorrah. So soon? Didn't you just get in yesterday? I've been home for 2 months. Time flies when you're having fun. He pauses. Say, you think I ought to start smoking a pipe? A pipe? I chortle. Why on earth would you do that? Well, I'm a man now, he says, real serious. Figure it might be time. Maybe tossing a bow tie, too. What do you reckon? I think you're ridiculous, I say, laying my head on his shoulder. But you should do whatever you please. I'll love you any which way you turn. That's the ticket, he says. I'm gonna miss you something fierce. Don't stay away too long, all right?